the Ian Njoroge incident.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I think I saw you like in a lineup during a press conference, and then I was like, oh, okay, I think you're actually out there more on the ground, like with even in touch with what's actually happening.
I've been on the ground for quite some time. The only reason maybe you have not bumped into me is because I just recently started the TikTok. So yes, I started the TikTok. It's about a week old. So, but I've amassed a number of followers up to about 5,000. So maybe that's the reason why you bumped into it.
Yeah.
But I've been involved in a number of cases ever since I started taking law. It's because I've recently worked with law firms and also other human rights organizations. So when it came to the Ian Njoroge case, the real reason why I had a first-hand experience to it is because I'm attached to Mlimani Law Courts and I'm a student there with the supervisor, the magistrate who's our supervisor. So the court in which we were assigned, Ian Njoroge was supposed to be there for plea taking. So he was brought, in which he pleaded not guilty to the charges in which he was being fronted by the prosecution, in which he said that he did not assault the cop and all that. We understand how plea taking really works. So the real reason why it became interesting to us as law students is because the prosecution made an application to deny him bond or bail. That is where now all the drama started. Because the real nature of the bail and bond application is that it is a constitutional right. For you to be denied, there has to be outright compelling reasons to show the court as to why the person would not show up in court. That is why it is surprising that when you see murder cases or people who have been accused of murder, they're actually freed on bond or bail.
Always, yeah.
It's not because we are looking at the morality aspect of the law. It's because it's a constitutional right.
Yeah.
And the freedom of a person will always matter. And there is a principle in law that we call the presumption of innocence.
Yeah.
So whenever you show up in court, we will always assume that, one, you're innocent.
But now even like why I would want to ask a question, jump in there and ask a question, it's because like now as an outsider, and at times that's where the law gets a bit tricky when we're trying to figure out like the details as outsiders, because like for us, we're not like the law experts, but we can clearly see like on video, Ian like just punching the officer. And then now in law terms, you're supposed to say allegedly, when we can see clearly in the video, he's punching the cop until he's down, like almost unconscious, kind of.
Yes.
And then also like another thing also, and I'll just voice it as an outsider.
You have
someone who's just, because yes, lawyers are doing their job, but I also, from my point of view, is looking at it as it also becomes dangerous for other young people because they think if Ian has done that and he can just say, I'm not guilty and get away with it, then why can't we? And even after that, there have been other incidents, like 2 or 3, where people are just like now slapping cops around. Because without thinking about repercussions, but from how I've grown up, like just even in this country, I've just come to, I never want to do anything to do with the cops. Because for one, we know they have the power of, like, we've seen extrajudicial, like,
the extrajudicial killings.
Yeah, they literally, they can, not unfortunately or fortunately, they have power to actually manipulate some things in their end. So now we can't really push on Gen Z thinking that it's okay to actually go out there and if you can't control your emotions, you can actually beat up a cop. Because now it becomes dangerous because there'll be a scenario where cameras won't be around. And if the cops are there and they want to manipulate the situation to something different, it's also going to be unfortunate for the student who, when Ian is running away free, that's just my concern also. But like, just, if we can dig more on that.
I'm getting on, definitely.
Especially so the frames.
There is no problem with you voicing that concern.
Yeah.
It's true. Even the prosecution had that concern. The fact that the video trended countrywide and everybody had an opportunity to see it. The problem is that it shifted and many people were calling Ian a hero. So They also raised an issue of it being a matter of security, national security concern, in which they said if we release this individual today, then there would be other attacks that would be perpetrated towards the police based on the notion that this is what you're supposed to be doing in order to call out the rogue police officers. But in law, when you come to the question that you've just asked about you being or having a chance to see the exact video of what Ian did, and
because we can see.
Yes,
so where does the law apply?
And definitely come to the conclusion that Ian is guilty.
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
I think he's guilty.
No. That is not really how the law works. First of all, there is certain things we call the international principles of justice. Okay. And one of the most important international principles of justice that has dated back to the Greek period or the Roman period, or even the King's Chamber that was invented in England, in which they were solving cases in a court manner, that has been adopted today, is the presumption of innocence. And if we are a smart person, when you're dealing with any dispute, the best thing to do is to get the perspective of both sides.
Okay.
And what better way to get the perspective of both sides than being neutral?
Even when and that's why I'm saying, like, even at times for someone like me, I just don't understand the law because we can see it.
That is the rationale of actually the principle of presumption of innocence.
Okay.
You have not heard whatever the other side have said. Because look at the case of Ian Njoroge.
Yeah.
Have you asked yourself if there was provocation that led to his actions?
Now, that's where, let me respond to that. Even if the cop provoked Ian,
yes,
is it okay for him? And even this is just to clarify. Is it okay for just a normal citizen to put their hands on the police?
Okay, it's fine. Morally speaking, it is not okay. And of course also in law. But you must also understand that there are a lot of people who are freed based on mitigating factors in law. Okay. And one of the mitigating factors can be self-defense. That is number one. And another mitigating factors can be provocation. So we have seen cases whereby someone has done something provocative to someone. Maybe he has tried hitting him. Maybe he has also tried uttering a certain word. And if it is well outlined in the evidence, it is quite enough to warrant the innocency of the suspect.
Okay.
That is what we should also ask ourselves. Did the cop also try hitting on Ian?
But here, I still go back to, we've seen it on video.
Yes, we have.
And also, like, what's the situation right now with the case?
Oh, okay, the situation with the case. Okay. You know, when it comes to Kenya, most people, the surprising thing is that I believe this is a statistic that is coming out of my head. 70% of Kenyans do not know the meaning of bail or bond. Have you come to know it?
Actually,
surprising.
I don't know.
I also did not know the meaning of bail or bond while I was young, or maybe not even just young, or in high school. Yeah. I used to think that if someone is brought to court today and they say we have given you a bail of about 100K or a bond of about 1 million, you are free or ready to go. But most Kenyans also don't understand that.
Yeah, break it down for us now. So, like just normal citizens.
Yes, like just normal citizens. So bail and bond, or bail or bond, the primary factor for it is that we have to make sure the accused person shows up in court. The fact that we are presuming this person is innocent warrants us not to put him in jail.
Okay.
Yes, he's still innocent. So we should not take away his freedom. So what do? We have to put a certain condition or a certain bait into the situation to make sure that this accused person shows up in court. So that is where the bail comes. So bail is actually in form of cash.
Okay.
So they will tell you have to pay 100,000 Kenya shillings. You'll deposit the cash with the judiciary at that day, and then you'll be released. So bond is actually in terms of asset.
Okay.
You're seeing the point? It is not cash. When they tell you we have given you a 1 million bond, then you come with 1 million cash to the judiciary account to pay it, you'd be rejected. That is not what really happens. You have to come with an asset value that is above that amount or almost same, but it should not be below it. So for the case of Ian Njoroge, he was given a bail of about 700,000.
Yeah.
Then, fortunately, we saw Sonko volunteering to give his logbook.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. He gave his logbook to one of his cars. It was about even 5 million shillings and above. So you see?
So Ian is out?
So Ian is out. Ian is free.
Waiting
For now, what we call now the trial itself.
Okay.
The trial now. So the bond, it has to be an asset. And the asset does not really mean that you have to bring it itself to the court. You have to bring something, paperwork, a documentation that verifies the asset, now to transfer the ownership or the rights of that asset to the judiciary. So if you have a land right now, you transfer the title deed to the judiciary.
Oh, when you're doing the bond process?
When you're doing the bond
process. You'll transfer the name?
You'll not the name, you'll transfer the title.
The title.
Not the name, definitely not the name.
Okay.
If you transfer the name, that will mean you're changing the ownership itself.
Okay, true.
But that is
the title.
That is something like an encumbrance on the land itself.
So that in case you disappear, first of all, does that mean you'll forfeit the land as a penalty?
So this is the interesting thing about bail. If you miss to show up in court even once, just once, and there are no clear-cut reasons as provided in the law, they forfeit the things the asset that you have given it to.
So it's gone?
It's gone, absolutely gone. I had a friend, who willingly volunteered to give his land, the title, to the friend. The land was about 3.5 million, somewhere in Siaya County. Just to a friend whom he knows ever since he was in campus and also high school. But the problem is the friend was also notorious, and he was afraid that there was enough evidence by the prosecution in order to put him in. But the friend was somehow blinded by the friendship, and he decided to give out the title deed. And the friend did not show up in court. Guess what happens?
So the land has gone.
He lost his land.
And the guy is still being...
and the guy is still pursued. So this is the interesting part. When the judiciary forfeits your land, the bond that you've given, is that an arrest warrant is issued on you now. Now they have to look for you.
Double the trouble. What's even the... Okay, I get it.
They have to look for you. And the next time you're going to be applying for release or bail or bond, that will be a compelling reason. You would not be given into it.
Because the first time they gave it to you, you proved that you can clearly be trusted.
You trusted.
Okay.
So that's what happens. So they will detain you for as long as they want in the remand prison. That's why you're seeing people in the remand for even over 10 years.
Because they actually were given a chance or opportunity to actually just
and
act right, and they did not.
And they did not show up. So the friend lost the entire land just to that.
That's very unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. That's why I keep advising that if you are going to be helping a friend in terms of the bond to ensure your asset, make sure you're certain the person is going to show up.
Well, I don't think I'll trust any of my friends with any of my assets. I would take my chances with maybe, let's say a sister, mother, because now they know these are family assets. We don't want us to lose generational wealth. But I think with a friend entirely, even if you trust each other, there's a slippery slope. Because even if you're my friend and you want me to set the bond, with whatever assets that I own, I think you also have to give me like collateral for something.
Exactly.
You have to give me something, because otherwise, I know it's friendship, yes, but I'm not willing to lose like generational wealth because of your incompetence in something that you're doing.
Yeah, in fact, that's a good idea. You have to give collateral.
Yeah.
If I was maybe giving you your land, maybe get me your car for some time.
Exactly.
So that I can be certain that if you do not show up, maybe I can recover a certain amount.
At least a percentage. Even 50% is okay.
Okay, but losing your entire land because of someone's actions really
it's never that serious.
And when the guy went to the court, he was in tears. He was really crying to the magistrate. But the law is the law. That is the big thing about it. You promised the court that you would make sure this person shows up in court. You gave out your land. So we are not going to give out your land. Because fines, forfeitures made on bond, or even cash bills are also ways in which the government earns revenue. There is a very huge amount of money that the judiciary earns from that.
When they're getting such things like just property, assets, when they're being forfeited, right?
Yeah.
Where does this money go?
It goes to the state.
Now that's the state property.
That's the property of the state now.
Jeez.
Now the state has to budget on what are we going to be doing it. If you had a cash bill of even 700,000, that is money to the state. Now it is taken to the treasury and then it is allocated to other sectors of the economy.
Oh, so it's not the judge who's keeping the money.
It's not the judge who's keeping
So
the
you know
money.
how ordinary mwananchi is. Like, you know, us, we always like, hey, man, he's taking the money. So
that's the problem. I saw if you love being on X, you've seen Cyprian Nyakundi recently just exposing judges for their corruption and all that. Of course, we do not have evidence, but I've seen a comment where someone is saying, judges are receiving so many fines and bails and bonds, they're eating it.
Yeah.
But that's not really how it works. In fact, a judge would never even have access, or nobody in the judiciary, anyone who works in the judiciary, would ever have access to the money that is paid to the judiciary.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it directly goes, through the judiciary, it directly goes to the treasury. Okay. So, in fact, they do not even take cash itself. In fact, most of us say it's cash, but they do not really take cash.
It's like a transfer or something?
Yeah, you transfer it to the bank account of the judiciary, in which the treasury is also monitoring the funds. So a lot of people are misconcepting it.
But you know, you also have to understand, like the ordinary mwananchi doesn't understand like all different terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Now another thing that I want to pick up on is also like